Alright, now today we will be looking at this little guy, which is a Fleischmann, I think how you say it, Piccolo 736. Now it looks like originally someone paid 115 euros for this thing. Now I didn't pay anywhere near that. I got it used on eBay. Here it is, if it can stay in focus. Looks pretty good, kind of small, but that's what you kind of want in this thing. So if I undo the top box so you can see it better. Again, there it is. Looks nice. I do like this brand, so they've had good stuff. Let me take it out of the box there. Like I said, kind of small, but I like it. It's cute. You can see it better there, closer up, if it stays in focus. Again, tiny little wheels. I guess it's an 080. So we'll get it out on the track and see how it works. Alright, so tiny little engine deserves a tiny little train. So here it is. Looks pretty good again. We'll get it going here and show you what it's got. You see it's got the two front lights. Looks good in motion there. Off and around the corner and away. Alright, overall look of it looks pretty good. Looks pretty good for as small as it is. Lots of good detail there. I like it. Say that's a solid 7 on the look scale. There's a nice dusk shot for you, how it looks at night. As far as details go there's a lot of them. They pack them in. You can see the little rivets and all that. Give this a 9 out of 10 because it's really good. They did a good job with the fine detail, especially for something, again, for as tiny as it is. If it will stay in focus there. There it is. Again, for comparison's sake, to show you how small this thing actually is, there's one of the other Fleischmanns I have. It's about maybe just about 2/3 the size of this one without any tender. And then your big guy right out there. If I move this guy out of the way, you can see how much bigger the other one is. Still kind of tall though, but it's about the same distance tall-wise. I thought it was more tiny when you put the 2 and 2 together. Of course, if I do it forced perspectively, it's a little different. But in the display case, this one looks just tiny, and this one looks pretty big. The materials used, what this thing is made out of, really good. It weighs a lot. You could tell they didn't cheap out on anything. Fairly high end. I'm going to give it an 8 because it's pretty good. Again, especially for how tiny this thing is. The uniqueness of it, it's good. There's a lot of these small ones out there. This one certainly seems to be one of the better ones. I'm going to give it a 6, just because it does look like a lot of the others, but of those others, this one's pretty good. Like I said, lots of detail, looks great. Nothing too super over the top or something I've never seen before, but it's a solid 6, I'd say. Now Derailment. This thing, again, is a 080, so it's got 8 tiny little wheels. This thing ain't going anywhere. It's small, compact, it's gonna stick to the track like you wouldn't believe. But it doesn't have that big of a motor, so it can't really go that fast to begin with to try to derail. So this thing ain't falling off your track, that's for sure. So that's, with that said, it's a solid 10. Struggles just a little bit at slow speeds. Still looks good. Power requirements. This little guy needs his own power plant to move. It won't even begin to take off before I hit halfway up my dial, before it actually takes off and starts moving. Even at full blast, it barely moves. And I don't understand why such a tiny little motor needs so much power to get going. I guess it's just a weak motor overall. So definitely one of the weaker engines I have. And I wish it was stronger because it looks so cool. For comparison's sake, this little guy, which looks even smaller than this one, can move heaven and earth if it wanted to. Very powerful engine, so I don't understand why this guy needs so much power and can't move anything, whereas this one can move all kinds of stuff. And we'll do this one in another review. Three-fourths up on the scale. You can see it's entered the danger zone. Don't really want to run it much past that, but that's about as fast as it's going to go. Motor strength. It is small, so it is weak. We'll give it a 3. It's not, certainly not the best, certainly not the worst, but yeah, once you start to try to pull five-ish cars, it will start to not move, really. So, weak motor, but it's a small one, so you kind of expect that overall. Now the noise level of this thing, it's pretty quiet. Like, even at full blast, it's pretty quiet. So I'm going to give it a 9 just because you can still hear it. 10 would be, can't hear anything. But as you can hear here, it's one of the quieter ones that I have. Problems. Now this particular one, I'm giving a 3. Because when I got it, there's all kinds of gunk up and in the gears. The wheels are so small, and there's all those pistons, if you will, crankshafts that clog up and get all kinds of stuff caught in there. So it's definitely not maintenance free. But that's why it's getting a 3. Nice little faraway shot. Kind of reminds you of Thomas and Friends a little bit, only it's not blue. Price to value. Now, it wasn't dirt cheap, but it wasn't caviar money either, like the original price of 115 euros, which translates to, in '08, I don't know, 150 US maybe? But I paid about 56, all said and done, which might be a little bit pricey, considering all the problems I've had with the motor getting going and able to pull and gunking up and stuff. But I'd say it's a solid 4. I still think it looks fantastic. It's solidly built, so what I paid for what I got, it's a solid 4. So there you go. Overall, gonna give it add it all up, it's a 61. Decent score for this little guy. I was hoping for maybe more when I bought it, but hey, I still like it. Great look. Looks good in the display case.